What is going on to the AMC stock family? In today's video, we are going to be answering exactly why the stock of AMC is down on the day. It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever, AMC stock family, but please do not panic. That is all I ask because you guys should not have that much stress on yourselves on a day-to-day basis. There really is no point of that, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Because unfortunately, the manipulation is just outweighing every single point and every single mechanism that AMC stock truly has. And again, it is unfortunate, but hear me out. The reason why AMC stock is down on the day is really for an irrelevant issue. And it's not even an issue, it's more of a situation that occurred. And we're going to be talking about that situation in today's video, but it is quite disappointing when the rhetoric changes for AMC. And going alongside that, it is disappointing when these news outlets try to scare AMC investors and even the hedge funds. But of course, the hedge funds know exactly what they're doing because after all, these people that work at the hedge funds spent at least 4 years at university trying to learn all these little market tactics and all these market mechanisms so that they can win at the end of the day. And so what happened today? The hedge funds won today. I'm not saying that they will win forever because certainly I do not believe that. I think that we will end up winning this battle. That's why it is a buy and hold. Now, anyways, going off of the rhetoric, hear this out, guys. AMC CFO dumps chunk of stock. And so, again, these news outlets, this was on the Robinhood homepage headline. And so, if it is on the homepage, don't you think that a lot of people will immediately start getting fear, uncertainty, and doubt? In other words, don't you think they will have a lot of FUD just because of the rhetoric that a lot of these news outlets decide to use for stocks like AMC and even GameStop? So, again, one more time, AMC CFO dumps chunk of stock, when in reality, that is not exactly what happened. He did not necessarily dump his chunk of AMC stock, but he did sell. But there is a great difference between those two words right there. So let's talk about this. So someone that works at AMC, he is actually part of the high administration. He is a CFO, and so this guy is named Goodman, and he now owns roughly 111,300 shares of AMC stock, valued at more than $3.8 million. So you understand that right here. Why are the market makers trying to scare the AMC retail traders? It is quite disappointing and it is honestly sad because when you hear that the CFO sold his AMC stock, there is no time to think. There's only time to take action. And so why is that? That is because it gets too late. We see throughout history of the stock market that whenever there is any news of a dilution, which I believe that's what a lot of people thought, I think that when a lot of people heard this news, or you could call it this so-on-so news, but in reality, I wouldn't even say that it's that much of a news. I just think that this situation was blown out of proportion simply because the hedge funds want to position themselves in a way that they could win. So what the hedge funds, in my opinion, decided to do was they decided to use this rhetoric for their own advantage. And so what I mean by that, this is exactly when they saw the opportunity to capitalize off of the near-term price action for AMC. This was a time for them to sell the shares of AMC stock, and lo and behold, what was the AMC stock price at today? Around $33.50 a share. It is absolutely absurd, and I'm going to unequivocally explain everything that this news article decides to talk about. So let's go on with that. So AMC Entertainment Chief Financial Officer Sean Goodman has dumped 45,405 shares of the company's stock in a transaction that took place on Monday. And so AMC Entertainment Holdings, the last price was $33.82. So I know I just said $33.50, but I wasn't exactly sure of that number, but it was around that trading range. And so according to an SEC filing, the shares were sold at an average price of $34.79 for a total transaction of $1.5 million. And so Goodman now owns approximately 111,300 shares valued at $3.8 million. So you see, guys, he still has 111,300 shares of this stock, and the total valuation of that would equal roughly $3.8 million. And you can most certainly decide to value this at $3.9 million if you decide to round this number up. Now, to continue with this article in an unequivocal way, in other words, we are going to explain this in a way that should not be confusing, because with all these articles, with all these people saying one person sold AMC stock, whereas another person says no one sold AMC stock, we are going to accurately break down the news. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys share this video with your fellow AMC investors, because there are a lot of people that do not know what is going on, and honestly, it is not their fault. It is not the fault of the retail traders, simply because if Fox Business, or even not Fox Business, if any news outlet decided to say that the AMC CFO decided to dump chunk of AMC stock, first of all, again, going back to rhetoric, that word right there is not necessarily best connotation or positive connotation expectation, and I can understand why that elicits fear within the AMC stock community, but don't worry guys, there really is no reason to be fearful. In fact, hopefully this allows you guys to build your further conviction because you guys know the news. Everything is okay, but unfortunately the price does not reflect how the news is going. The news is one side and the price is a whole different side. So that is also another unfortunate part of the AMC stock price right now. We just gotta persevere because in my opinion, I truly believe that we will end up winning this battle. So again, Goodman now owns approximately 111,300 shares and the valuation almost $3.9 million. And so, going on with that, the article says that the move comes after AMC had a transformational second quarter earlier this month. Exactly. So, one of the good things about this article, though, is that they at least acknowledge that AMC did indeed have a transformational second quarter earlier this month, raising $1.25 billion in fresh capital and boosting its total liquidity to a record high of more than $2 billion. AMC stock family, if you guys were absolutely shocked at how well AMC stock did for the quarter over quarter growth, make sure you guys comment down below. Were you guys expecting them to beat earnings, or were you guys expecting them to have a loss for this quarter's earnings? Let me know in the comment section below. And so continuing on, the movie chain turned meme stock narrowed its net loss during the quarter to $344 million or 71 cents per share, compared to a roughly $561 million loss, or in other words, $5.38 per share loss. And so that was just 1 year ago. And so the total revenue for the quarter was $444.7 million, up from $18.9 million. Okay, so wait a minute, guys. We need to break this down because that was a lot of information. So the first news that we know, they did indeed beat earnings if you decide to evaluate AMC's earnings from a standpoint at which a comparative value. When you compare AMC's actual earnings versus the expectations, they certainly did beat their earnings. And I know that they still have some sort of debt. I know that they are still not in the best financial position just yet, but not to worry, they're still having a transformational year, and don't doubt this stock. $344 million loss compared to $561 million loss. That right there is a huge beat. And then going off of that, the revenue for the quarter, in other words, how much they end up making, was $18.9 million from just 1 year ago. In other words, 1 year ago today, they were $18.9 million less than this number, and now they're $18.9 million higher, which equates to $444 million. So 2021, we got this number, and then 2020 of the second quarter, we were almost $19 million. AMC stock is headed in the right direction, but at the end of the day, this is a fundamental balance sheet of a company, and not everything is going to be linear. That is not the whole point of a business, and unfortunately, the timing of all of this was not the best. We are still not in the best economical situation right now. So what do you guys think the AMC balance sheet is going to end up looking like when they decide to fully open up all their theaters rather than limiting them? And also, what do you guys think is going to happen when they end up going back to full capacity? And I've also been hearing that AMC stock is trying to announce some concerts at the AMC theaters, and I've heard that they're trying to announce more UFC fights, which one of them ended up doing amazing, the Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier fight. Just a lot more phenomenal catalysts that AMC stock has going forward. And get this, guys, the AMC CEO also stated that they will possibly offer movie theater tickets for Bitcoin. In my opinion, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but my guess would be that Citadel and a lot of the other hedge funds decided to take advantage of this negative catalyst for AMC. In other words, the rhetoric that they decided to use, how the CEO apparently dumped AMC shares, or the CFO, that did not actually happen, because that word, again, demonstrates a lot of negativity surrounding AMC, when in reality, it was only roughly 45,000 shares, and he still has well over 100,000 shares of AMC stock. And interestingly enough, in the last video, we were talking about the two candle wicks and how it is not enough to break above $38 a share. So $38 a share was our second resistance level. The first one was at $35 a share. I'm not going to draw it simply because we broke it in the first time, but now we are down. And again, I think this is because a lot of the hedge funds took advantage of the negative news and the negative catalyst, and this is where they decided to open their selling position, and lo and behold, where are we now? They made a lot of money. So they may have won one day, but that's also because they had the news on their side. So it's not really fair when you compare it to the average retail trader that doesn't have access to this news. But again, guys, if you guys have not shared this video already, make sure you guys do so to let all the AMC investors know what is really going on. And so, again, we were talking about these two candle wicks because it is not enough. The wick is not enough. I said that we needed a candle closing above $38 a share because that would truly demonstrate that AMC stock is ready for the last and final reversal. And so, last and final reversal, what does that mean? Well, when we break above here, we have two options. Option one, regardless of how you look at it, it has a gap fill to the upside. Gap fill to the upside, first level would be at $44 a share. That is already amazing for some AMC investors, but don't get me wrong, that is not enough for the majority of them. the majority of the AMC investors don't even want to go back to the all-time highs. They want to go far and above the all-time highs. But before we talk about breaking above the all-time high numbers, which everyone has their own price targets, and you can't undermine anyone else's price targets. For example, if their price target is $80, $100, $1,000, everyone can justify their own price targets, so therefore everyone can do as they choose. And so going off that concept, the gap fill, first one would be at $44 a share. That one should be reached if we have a candle closing above $38 a share. And then where is that next gap fill going to be? This is a very exciting gap fill because this will lead us back to the exciting zone that we were in for such a long time. However, the hedge funds decided to manipulate and artificially manipulate this stock to such high significance that the stock ended up dropping. And so this is also the time, again, that they used the news in their advantage because Adam Aaron did end up diluting the shares, but it was to benefit the AMC stock company. And so this gap fill would take us all the way back to $60 a share. And if you're not going to say 50, you can at least say that this stock does have a gap fill all the way to $51 a share. So $51 a share would be a very conservative number if you guys were looking for the gap fills to the upside after it has a closing candle above $38 a share, which we were very close to, but unfortunately we did not get there just yet because of this negative new news that ended up happening for AMC. And so where are the support levels right now? Well, the demand zone that we were talking about was $35 a share, and so we ended up breaking $35 a share, and right now we're at $34 a share. So we were 1 point lower than what we were expecting going into today, but that is no worries whatsoever because the demand on Friday, we know the trend. Trends on Fridays for AMC is usually not the best. In fact, it is actually more bearish. But trend day or no trend day, AMC stocks should be able to still sustain a lot of the demand zone. And this demand zone, I still think, will be at the low $33 a share range. And so going off of that, if we do break that level though, because we cannot just say that AMC stock is going to rebound off at $33 a share, what happens if it ends up breaking $33 a share? Well, then the answer to that would be the buyers would step in $31 a share. Now, is AMC stock going to fall to $31 a share tomorrow? I don't think so. But if it does, I wouldn't be surprised because we were in this trading range for such a long time. It took from August 4th and all the way to August 12th for this breakout to happen. So I would not be surprised if we end up trading back to this zone. And so when I say back to the zone, it doesn't necessarily mean $31 a share. It means from $31 a share to $33 a share. And so if we break $33 a share, why should that matter 21? Because again, we will be trading back at that zone. And so this zone is very crucial because if we break this zone, then we will end up going back the relative near low for this stock, which would be at around $29 a share. I'm not saying it will go to 29. I highly doubt it will go to $29 a share. I think that it will actually trade sideways tomorrow because tomorrow is a Friday. And I don't think that AMC stock will break $38 a share tomorrow. That is just my opinion, but I think that is going to be beneficial for this stock because the more it trades sideways, the higher the likelihood for a breakout. My long-term price targets, my near-term price targets are well above $60 a share. Don't get me wrong, but because this price prediction is for Friday, August 20th, I don't think that we will get above $38 a share just tomorrow. In the future, like talking about a few weeks, just a few weeks, I most certainly think that we will be right back above $38 a share. No question. And again, that's just my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm also not a financial advisor. This is just what I'm doing for my account. And so with that being said, AMC stock family, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next video.